Okay, boys, we're under the GX today, looking to replace the transfer case actuator seals. I have the seal, the O-ring, and I have those shift rod seals on order, but I'm just gonna see if this works, and if it's really as easy as people say it is, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it again and replace the shift rod seal if it's damaged or anything like that, or if I see any more oil coming out. So yeah, let's go. So here we are. I don't know why the other videos don't show it from this side, but from the driver's side of the vehicle you can easily see where that connector is and where the vacuum hose is. So I guess you just unclip those and get going. So if your transfer case actuator is dripping like this and nowhere else, and you have a little bit, you know, down the line, and you get a drip like I just got, I don't know, you can't really see it on the camera, but it's about to drip again, then you might have this leak. All right, so this is your view from under the actuator. You can see there's definitely some leaking coming from that O-ring seal. And here's the plug. Now, a lot of people use a screwdriver to undo it, but I'm gonna try to do it with my finger because it looks like right here is just the tab. And then their vacuum line, I'm actually using this video to find out where it goes. So hopefully I can see it once I review this. And we're gonna try to undo those. So let's go. The vacuum line and the plug came out quite easily. And I just saw that this vacuum line is damaged, so I might just electrical tape that in when I reinstall it, but something to watch out for sure. Let's keep going. All right, so after cleaning off this bolt, because it was all full of transfer case fluid, let's see if the 12 fits like everybody says it would. And it looks like it does. So let's take this off. Damn, why is that on there so tight? So hopefully my knuckles don't get destroyed on anything trying to do this. Oh, man. They really had these things in there. Unless somebody tried this before and just gave it a couple too many ugga-duggas, you know what I mean. So I'm actually gonna get this out of the way of the oil dripping. There's already more oil starting to pool. Okay, that's coming out, that's coming out. Alright, well there's the bolt. I don't know if there was some locking compound or something on that, but yeah, those were tough for sure. All right, I'm not sure if there's a third one. Is there a third one? Oh shoot, there might be a third one. All right, well, let's get after it then. Woo! Man, if that slipped, my knucks would be all over that rear drive shaft, or propeller shaft, depending on what you call it. Now we're gonna get into what I've been reading on the forums, that you have to kind of do some kind of shimmy to disengage the gears from the the shift shaft. So let's see how that goes. Now, according to what I've read, it should come out and then stop. So there's a stop, and there's a little bit of oil leaking out. So we are doing something. And counterclockwise, someone said. Clockwise, another said. There's one, and there it comes. And it looks like not too much oil drained out of it. So, Lord willing, the oil seal should be okay, the ones that I have on order. Now, if it turns out that is leaking, or if I'm just feeling like wrenching on something in the future, maybe I'll go back and do it. But if it doesn't leak, I mean, I don't know, it looks like a good seal. All right, so we have that out, and I'm gonna take this over to the workbench and see what's up. So there it is. I'm just gonna keep letting it drain. But I really didn't see that much fluid come out of it. So I'm just hoping that oil seal is still doing its job. This is my setup right here. Nothing crazy. Just jacked up one side so I can get under easy, and here we go. So I'm not sure if this is the carb cleaner is the right thing to be using, but I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit so I don't get so dirty. You experts in the comments will probably know better than me, so I'll look forward to reading them. So let me just go get a cloth. I'll be right back. Now, doing this job must require a lot of calories, because I worked up this insane appetite for some reason in the middle of it. So always have a food supply on hand. That's step number 7 or whatever we're at now. Sorry for not keeping track. Here we go though. All right, so after raiding your in-laws' food supply to feed yourself, you need to get the cutest screwdriver you can find. It does need to be Phillips, and you know, from what I've read and seen on the forums and on YouTube, you just remove this guy and the seal should pop out. So I'm just gonna carefully work it out at first. And I think that's leftover grease. There it is. Yeah, it doesn't even look like the threads go all the way around, so be easy on this guy. So I got my flathead. I'm just gonna see if this comes off. And there it is. This doesn't look warped. I've seen some other videos where it's warped, and it looks like actually there might be a slight, you know, little bow in it right there. But I mean, hopefully this job turns out so easy that it won't be a huge deal if I have to do it in another 80,000 miles or whatever. I'm just trying to wrench. I'm looking for experience. So let's see how the O-ring looks. You know what? This thing is so flat. I thought there was no O-ring at first. I was like, wait a second. But I got it right here. And now I'm gonna ask my wife to go into the car and actually get the O-rings out of the passenger seat. It was completely flush with the outside. So you could see how you've seen in the other videos, it works itself flat. And so it doesn't have any sealing, well, it has very little sealing effect beyond what it was designed to do. So yeah, that is a squircle, boys. That is a squircle. It is no longer a circle, but a squircle. So completely flat. The inside also flat. So let's take a look at one of the new ones. Let me just show the part number. That's an extra. I got 2 just in case I screw the first one up, because I've never done this before. So might want to consider that, but you know, also might not want to because it's so easy, but we'll find out at the end of this. All right, so here's the new one, and it is a round boy. It is round, and this one is not so round. This one, let's see how it goes back into place. And let's test this one. nice and bouncy, and we do like them bouncy, folks. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit and then put this one back on and slam it back in and see if it fixes our issue. All right. Actually need a paper towel. I thought I spilled a crumb inside my transfer case actuator, so I was like, okay. All right, so I cleaned around the outside, so no like rocks or debris get on the sealing surface. Now I'm just taking a paper towel and cleaning the sealing surface itself, so we get a nice, good seat for our new O-ring. Now, I don't know what the actual oil seal is supposed to look like, but this one appears to be, fine. No issues. It's bouncing back to where it was. Now, I have a couple on order, so if this doesn't fix the issue, then I can always just slam a new one in. But I like to go by the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, yeah, let's keep going. You'll also notice that for the GX470, there is a blank hole right here. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I've heard that in 4Runners with a similar transfer case setup, they have 2 shift rods that come out of the transfer case. So they actually can't rotate it to pull it off like this. They have to actually do the recall TSB procedure, where they yank the transfer case, have to split it, get the shift rod from the end, and take it's a whole mess. But this one, since the GX only has 1 rod, we can actually finagle it out like I did just back there. So I guess that's another plus side to having a GX. I actually just picked mine up. This was the only issue I could see, so I looked up some forum posts and figured it was worth it for me to save a few bucks anyway. So let's see how it goes. We're learning together here. Just want to get all the oil out of these little crannies and nooks. So I saw a lot of people talking about a crunching noise when you take the actuator out. Now, I didn't notice any of that. It basically felt like I was sliding a gear around. I was sliding a straight gear about the shift rod to where it was on the smooth side. And once I got it disengaged from the shift rod, it just wanted to come right out. So just work it back and forth a few times, and it should come out for you, barring any unforeseen circumstances, in which case, that's what the forums are for. Oh, and by the way, I'm not even a member on any of these forums. I just browse, So if you're looking for me on the forums, maybe I'll make one. If I do, I'll put it in the description. But for now, I'm just a distant observer, mystery man. Okay, so time has come to replace the old with the new. As you can see, this thing is nice and round, like I said before. So let's slam it in. Okay, so let's put this guy on. I've cleaned it a few times, I'm trying to keep dirty oil off of it, but it should go right around like this. No problem. Try not to twist it either. All right. That looks much better. So before, when I had just taken the O-ring off, I could not tell the difference between this part and the O-ring. And now you can see there is a distinct difference between, especially from a bird's eye view, the O-ring is blocking my view of the underside. So that's a great sign that we're actually gonna get much better sealing out of this. So I'm gonna put a little bit of transfer case fluid around here just so it slides in easy and doesn't bunch up. And we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try to slam this guy back in and go on like a 70-mile test drive and see if it worked. And if it didn't, and if I screwed something up, I'll just try it again. Cause you know, I really like to be able to do some things myself. This is the only problem I have with this car. So this is gonna give me a lot of peace of mind. So here we go. All right, and before I do that, obviously, I gotta put this guy back on. So clean it off a little bit. Get the inside, just all around the circumference. And we'll just lock that guy in there. Now, like I said, there's a bit of a lift in this. It kind of goes like this a tiny bit. So hopefully it's not too big of an issue, and the bulbousness of the actual O-ring will hold it in now. You know, if anything, I've seen that people have made machined pieces of metal that replace this. If I have an issue again, maybe I'll consider that, but I'm gonna just try doing it without any of that and see if this works. Now, I don't wanna have to mess with this at all, so I'm gonna try to put it as tight as I can where I feel comfortable. You know, use your discretion, but just try to feel it out. And then I'll lube the outside, see if it'll go in. All right, so like I said before, I've heard that 4Runners have 2 shift rods, so they can't wiggle it out like we can. So I'm just gonna clean up around here, which I totally forgot to do when I took it out. I was just, to be honest, so excited that I got the thing out that I wanted to celebrate and go replace the O-ring ASAP. So let me just clean this out and then we'll get going. So I was thinking about when I'm gonna go on my test drive, how am I gonna make sure that I'm not seeing old oil that has already leaked out dripping on the floor when I look at it. And if you see this transfer case protector cover thing, I bet you a lot of oil could pool itself up in there and drip down later, so it actually wouldn't be a new leak, but I'd be seeing the old leak. And I'm gonna see if I can remove it easily. If I can, why not do it and clean it out so you're sure that your results are valid. All these bolts appear to be 12 mil. I got a little beefier of a wrench because taking the transfer case actuator ones off was actually much more difficult than I anticipated. So these, I'm just gonna get a little more leverage with this bigger socket wrench. Much better. Yeah, definitely. I thought using a tiny one was gonna be enough, but yeah, this helps a lot. All right, so there's some oil pooled up in there, and I definitely don't want that skewing my results when I go on the test drive. So let's clean that up and then we'll slam it back in. This thing is disgusting. Here, look at this. Look at all that buildup. So that's probably mostly road debris that's just stuck to the oil that's been leaking out of here. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want excess oil pooling in here, heating up, getting less viscous, and leaking out when I'm looking down there. So I just want to clean up a little bit. This is to clean it up perfectly would be way more work than you know, I'm really anticipating, so I just spent like 1 minute doing this. Probably gonna get an aftermarket armor kit for that anyway, so this will only be temporary. So let's go get everything back in. All right, so I'm gonna wait to like degrease this until after I'm done, just because I don't want to have an open orifice into the transfer case and potentially dilute whatever the oil is supposed to be doing there. So I'm gonna slam everything back in first, and then we'll give this a good cleaning to make it easy for us to see what's going on in there. Let's put this guy back in, if I can figure out how it went. Awesome. So that was a really easy step that's gonna save us a little bit of headache later trying to figure out if it is or isn't leaking. And we'll have more on that when we go on the test drive. All right, let's give these one final tug. It's good. Now it's time to put a little lube on the outside of where the O-ring goes for the transfer case actuator and try to slide it in. Now I've seen some people have difficulty with this. I'm hoping that I don't have the same experience. Before that, I do want to get some electrical tape around this vacuum line because it did look a little bit loose and it came off way too easily. So I'm gonna jump out and do that. So if you want to know what the top of the actuator looks like, this is where it plugs in. This is where this plug goes. And here's where the vacuum line goes. So, and it sits kind of like this. So what you'll see is oil right here on this cover. All right, so that's what you're looking for with this one. You won't be able to see up here, but it's really not a big deal. Getting the plug off and the vacuum line off is no big deal. Just got to get those three bolts out. 1, 2, and 3, and rotate it about the shift shaft, and then it should slide right out. At least it did for me. Okay, so I did a repair on the vacuum line. I just took some electrical tape and wrapped it around to make sure it didn't like expand when it went onto this nipple, so it'll keep a little bit of tension on it. I mean, there's better ways to do it, but I don't feel like doing those right now, so that's how it's gonna be. Sorry if that's not up to your standards. And I'm gonna do the same for where the transfer case seats. Here we go. Gonna lube up the inside here a little bit. All right. And I think there's nothing left to do but send it. So I'm gonna clean up my hands a little bit and then we're gonna go for it. Do it. So I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way. It's just a vacuum line and a clip, no big deal. All right, so I'm gonna get this vacuum line on the outside and also the clip on the outside of where the screws seat. And we're gonna just get it back in there, make sure it goes into the correct hole, which is, okay, the passenger side hole. Passenger. And I really don't want to break this seal, so I have to wait to get my new ones. So I'm gonna take my time so I can feel those teeth hitting the seal. So I don't like that, but you gotta get it in somehow. So it appears rotating it toward the driver's side helped, and I literally should have just gone for it right there, That was extremely dumb. So there it goes, and I should expect it to stop. And actually push the rod back in, so hopefully that's okay. Okay, so I have it all the way driver. Now it looks like the gears are probably getting in the way. And this is the part I was afraid of, so hopefully there's no issue, please. No issues, please. All right. I'm gonna reposition because I'm tired. It appears I've made it in. Now, I hope that the gears are engaging. We're gonna test that out. So it did sound like a bit of like a click or something. It did require a bit of force. Now that's kind of scary, but keep in mind, when you rotate it too far out, it behaves like a cam. So it will misalign the actual seal from the hole and everything. So you kind of need to work it on slowly. Once it stops, maybe work it back and forth a little bit, but give it enough force with it straight on, and hopefully it goes in like it did for me. So let's get those bolts in. Actually, while I'm thinking of it, I'm gonna throw this vacuum line on and make sure I get a good seat on that. And I'm just gonna work it on. The electrical tape fix seems to work very well. It's on there much better than when I first took it off. It kind of just fell off basically with no pressure. So this is actually taking a little bit of time for me to push it on, so that's good. Hopefully that won't need any more attention after this. All right, I'm gonna get the plug in. Boom. Easy as that. I might have to undo this clip from the harness again because I didn't think ahead, so we'll see. Okay, not gonna torque it down completely yet. I want to do those after I'm done. I'm gonna unplug the harness again to get this this bolt in. And when I got these bolts out, they seem to be pretty tight. So I'm going to kind of eyeball what I think is the right torque. I don't think there might be literature on this on the actual TSB, but I'll do my best at estimating. Not too tight, you want to crack the plastic. Just you know, tight enough. Should be good. And the last one up top. All right. One final here. One final here. All right. All right, let's plug this guy back in. Nice and easy. Want to line it up perfect and slide it on, and it should click in like this. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna spray this down a little bit. So an important thing to remember that, you know, some of the people have mentioned, top off your transfer case fluid after you've done this job. You have been losing fluid for this whole time, so you're gonna want to make sure to do that. When I first bought this truck, it was like 3/4 of a quart down on fluid, so I had to fill it that much to get it back up to where it spilled out. Now I did that about 3 weeks ago. I'm actually interested to see how much it takes now, how much I've lost. I did a road trip from California to Arizona and back, so about 1,000 miles. So let's see how much I lost. All right, so if you want to see how easy it is to change your transfer case fluid, take out your drain bolt. It's a 15/16 bolt right here. You just blast that thing off, then drain out here. I don't need to change it because, you know, it's been leaking. I've been filling it for a while. Just fill it up with one of these things. I got this filler on Amazon for like $8. And you just fill it with the correct fluid until it spills out. It's literally that easy. It's spilling out right now. I'm gonna put this back in, and I might get a paper towel if I have one, and clean under there so it seats properly. And then I'm gonna torque it to 29 foot-pounds, and that's it. Again, I'm gonna take it on a road test and see how it goes, but I'm going to spray this with some degreaser brake clean and get it nice and clean so I can have a proper test and see how it goes. I'll update you. All right, cool. Okay, so we have the job basically finished. I topped it off with fluid. It wasn't missing much. I filled it, you know, 3 weeks ago, but I thought a 1,000-mile trip might do something, but apparently it did basically nothing. So let's take a look. Hit it again. All right, so it's like a 5 seconds in and out, so that's better than before. All right, I've test driven it a few miles, and you can see there are no leaks coming from there. It's where it normally comes from, right in there. That's a great sign. All right, everyone, so the leak is gone and the job is done. The job ended up being a lot easier than I anticipated. Normally when somebody on the forum says, oh, it's just a totally easy job, they have 20 years experience being a mechanic at a dealership or some other great experience. This one really is easy. I don't have a whole lot of experience. I've wrenched a little bit on my turbo hatchback, put an intercooler intake, little stuff like that. This is not a difficult job. You need to get the 3 bolts off. You need to take off the vacuum line, unclip the harness, drain out whatever fluid's in there, replace the O-ring, and just finagle it out, finagle it back in. That's basically it. So if you're on the fence about this, I mean, obviously I'm not responsible for anything you do to mess up your car, but I would say go for it. Get the part from Toyota. Try to do it. It's worth doing, especially if your dealership is wanting to charge you $1,700 to do it. Like, that sounds crazy to me. So feel free to comment if you'd like to see any future videos on my new GX. Like and subscribe if you want to. I don't really care. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm just doing this for fun. So yeah, let me know your feedback in the comments, and have a great day.